Hello everybody, my name is Dums and I have ADHD and I'm also on the spectrum. So if you guys don't know me, I'm a League of Legends content creator. I've been creating content for 7+ years. Jesus Christ, that's so long. And this whole time, I've been struggling a lot with myself. I'm making this video for people who might be going through stuff like me. And not gonna lie, just living and being a content creator, working, hasn't been the easiest thing ever, especially when these news have been pretty new to me. And I want to make this video to share my experiences, what I've had to go through, what I'm still learning about myself, so other people could perhaps relate to the things I've been going through, and maybe they will also learn new things about themselves. I think it's important to share experiences like these, especially because I'm a pretty huge creator and I've been in the game for quite a while now, 7 years, a lot in the YouTube scene. I want to share my experiences, not just being a creator, but just being a human. And I wish this video will help some other people who might be going through similar stuff or think they might have something like ADHD or autism and they don't know about it, they don't know how to react to it or what to do. And I think a video like this is super important because people might think they have something, but they are not, they don't want to act. They don't want to find out if they have ADHD or autism. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm making this video completely without a script, so I'm being 100% myself. The video might be a bit long or whatever, but I want to go through every single thing that really has happened in my life. I've never made a personal video like this before, but I think a video like this is super important for a lot of people, and I think a creator myself should be doing this. But let's start from the beginning and let's first talk about ADHD. So as a kid, I was a pretty good student, and usually people with ADHD have problems at school, like a lot of problems. But no, for me, I was extremely good at school. I got perfect scores from pretty much every single subject. I had like my average grade was like 9.6 from like 4 to 10, so like it's an A. Like I was an A grade student. And I didn't really have a lot of problems as a kid, or not a lot of the problems didn't they weren't very clear. Although I was extremely impulsive as a child. Like for example, if I got mad about something or I was a bit annoyed about a friend of mine who did something to me, I would go all out. Like I remember this one time, I actually, like a good friend of mine for multiple years, like we were pretty much the best friends. We hanged out like every single day after school and all that. We got into one argument, and the next day we left the bus with him together. I grabbed a sheet of ice and smashed it to his back. And after that, we were never friends anymore. So, yeah, that was a pretty, I would say that was a pretty impulsive thing to do. And stuff like that happened to me a lot as a kid. Like if somebody annoyed me, I would like do I wouldn't say a violent thing, but still like, I punch you, something like that. I was still a very impulsive kid, like a bit more than others, I would say. Like I got into trouble when I was like first grade to fourth grade. I got into a lot of trouble, but after that I did calm down a lot. But I did have to go to a behavior therapy with me and my parents, which I think helped a lot. Like after that, I don't think I was that impulsive anymore at school. But that pretty much was the only like sign of ADHD like that could be categorized as ADHD in my youth. Like I was pretty chill otherwise as a child. Like I was easygoing, but yeah, as a child I was like pretty normal, bit impulsive, maybe a little bit violent. I wouldn't say violent, that's a wrong word, but still, like a bit more impulsive than a normal kid, but nothing insane. But then when it got to 7th and 9th grade, which is basically here like a, I guess, junior high. I don't know what the English name is, but 7th and 9th grade, I started getting a lot more physical problems. And one of the more visible things that happened to me during that time was that I would just sleep during the days. Like, I went to school, I would sleep before the class, I would sleep in the class, and after class, I would sleep like during the breaks between classes. My parents were like, what the fuck's going on? Our kid is just sleeping in school. Like, what's going on? He used to be a grade student, now he's sleeping in classes. And by the way, I was still a really good student. Like, I was still like, I'd say like a 9 out of 10 kid in school. So I was still doing good. But I did have a lot of problems with my sleep. So my parents sent me to sleep tests. Like, I went to the hospital and there were like multiple doctors there putting, shit to my head. I had I looked like Darth Vader with all the gadgets I had on my chest and head, tracking my brainwaves and stuff. And I slept there the night. But they didn't really find anything. They were like, no, your kid is pretty good. Like, his sleep is fine. Like, we actually do not know what's going on. So they thought I had hypersomnia. And hypersomnia, if you don't know, wait, let me get a Wikipedia. I don't know. I can't explain it super well. Hypersomnia is a neurological disorder of excessive time spent sleeping or excessive sleepiness. So basically, I was, sleepy during the day, even if I would sleep enough. And yeah, that's what they gave me. Like, that was the diagnosis. They thought I had hypersomnia. They gave me meds for hypersomnia. And to some extent, they did work. Although they did give me an increasing amount of stress and anxiety. Like, I'm like, bro, those meds, it's called Concerta, maybe some people know it, but that medication was crazy. Like, as a child, it was pretty alright. Like, I could handle it pretty well. And it did help me, like, be more productive during the day, and also, like I was sleeping better for sure. But it still didn't fix the issues, basically. I would just sleep, like, now I would still sleep the same amount, and I would still feel sleepy, but I would still be like super energetic, and it was a very, very weird feeling. I used that medication for, let me see, I think I was like 14 when I got the diagnosis, till I was 22. So I used this medication for 8 years. 8 years. And like, it did help sometimes, but like, it was so bad, all the anxiety and stress it gave me, the medication, I just didn't want to use it. It was so bad, like, sometimes it could even give me like hallucinations. It was that bad. It's clear that I might not have hypersomnia. So my grandpa, God rest his soul, wanted me to go to another sleep doctor. And because he was a doctor himself, he knew a lot of people, so we could do it. And I'm glad for that. I'm super privileged in that situation. And we went to the sleep doctor again. They put me in this, shit again. I looked like fucking Victor from Arcane. I think I might have a picture of it here. Like, yeah, like, I just looked like Darth Vader pretty much. We did that again, and they said I probably don't have hypersomnia. They're like, yeah, your sleep is fine. Everything is pretty much fine about you. But they did indeed find the reason why pretty much all of this was going on. And The doctor said, I think I have the diagnosis here. In summary, there is a lack of sleep and clearly delayed sleep cycle. In the background, autism spectrum disorder / ADD and sympathetic atonia of the appendix. I don't know what that means. Is that wrong translation? Maybe. In 2021, I did indeed get diagnosed with ADHD and being on the spectrum. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. After like all the tests and stuff, the doctor called me and said there is a possibility for ADHD still, but that's about it. That's about like that was pretty much the call. After that, when they sent the diagnosis of the whole thing, I never read that. I never read the diagnosis. So for 2+ years, I still thought I had hypersomnia. The diagnosis, when I got the letter or when I got the email, there was just too much text. I never read the diagnosis. And in the diagnosis, it says it is, bro, it's not hypersomnia, it's ADHD and you're on the spectrum, bro. So, for 2+ years, I thought I still had hypersomnia and maybe ADHD, but now I do know it is indeed ADHD and I'm a little bit autistic. You know what's funny? The only reason why I now know, like confirmed that I am on the spectrum and I have ADHD, like I did think that I had something else than hypersomnia, but now it's like 100% confirmed. It's because my girlfriend read the files. Because she's like, yeah, you clearly have like ADHD or something like that, like some sort of attention problem and could be autistic as well. Like, she read the files and she's like, yeah, it clearly says here you are autistic and you have ADHD, so... yeah, so thank you, girlfriend, for reading the diagnosis. But yeah, that's that. And yeah, that was the day I actually 100% knew I had ADHD. And that was like less than 2 years ago, by the way. So I got my 100% ADHD diagnosis when I was 23 years old adult. And let me tell you guys, the life hasn't been easy when you are not diagnosed with the right condition. For the longest time, I really thought I had hypersomnia. Like, I would feel sleepy during the day, even though I would kinda sleep good during the night. And I really thought I had hypersomnia, but now that I'm looking back at how my life was when it got to that point, I feel like an idiot. Like, I really do feel like an idiot, because when these things started happening, like when my sleep got bad, I would delay my sleep a lot. And I didn't know the reason why, because before that, like when I was a kid, I slept well. And I would, always get some good sleep. But like when I hit puberty, it all just changed. Like, my sleep would just get delayed, because I would have just thoughts going in my head like all the time. Like consistent thoughts. Like when I go to sleep, like try to sleep, even at like 10 p.m. or whatever, it would just be a constant signal of thoughts going through my head, like, and that was the reason. Like, I didn't really think much of it when I was a kid. Like, I was like, damn, I can't sleep, man. Like, it didn't really feel anything new. And that was the reason why my sleep got so delayed. I started being more on, like, I think we got an iPad. At that time, I was like, 13-ish, something like that. We got an iPad. I started using that because I just couldn't get any sleep, so I got bored. I got bored because I couldn't get sleep, so I would go on the iPad, and that would delay my sleep even more. So, and that's the reason why I would be super sleepy during the day. And now that I look back at it, like, I never really told, for example, my parents that was going on. Like, I couldn't really sleep. Like, my thoughts were going so crazy that I just couldn't sleep at night. And so I had to do something else to kinda reduce the noise in my brain, basically. And I never told them that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I did get the wrong diagnosis, because I wouldn't say I kind of lied. I kind of lied to my parents by saying that, yeah, I've been doing the same things, but no, like my brain was just going so crazy that I couldn't get any sleep, so I started doing something else, which was fucking looking at PewDiePie or Jacksepticeye when I was going to sleep. And that's the reason why I got the wrong diagnosis. So I think that's a good experience to share with people, because they might have something similar. Like if they didn't know this, that they had like ADHD as a kid, this is like a good thing to talk to the doctors about. Hey, by the way, as a kid, I just couldn't get any sleep because the fucking voices in my head were too loud, so I had to do something else. Because as a kid, I did still, like, before the fucking watching iPad and shit, like, I read a lot before I went to sleep. And reading is actually really good when it comes to, like, when it comes to trying to get sleep, especially as an ADHD person, because it gives you enough dopamine to fall asleep. Like, for example, if you are on your phone and you just scroll through, you know, fucking TikTok, whatever, that the dopamine levels and also the fucking screen, it's just bad for you. It's super bad for you. And when you're reading, like, even if it's like, because it's pretty boring to read, you just kind of fall asleep. So, like, if you guys think you might have ADHD and you like have problems with sleeping, please try to read books. I haven't really done that myself, and I really should do that. Like, I'm still like, okay, fuck, this is hard. Like, there are still things I don't do, even though I know I should do. For example, sleep. I should be getting more sleep. I now know that I have ADHD, so there are things I can do to actually try to get better sleep. But yeah, this problem with just having a lot of thoughts during the night has been a huge problem for me, and it still is a huge problem for me. For example, like, I like every single night I feel like I don't want to go to sleep early, because if I go to sleep early, my brain will just go crazy and like think about everything, and then that will delay my sleep, and I will get annoyed that I didn't do enough work or whatever, be with my friends longer. And yeah, it's annoying, and I'm still fighting that to this day. I'm trying to find ways to fight that. But if you do have similar problems like I do with the sleeping and stuff, I fuck me, this is a hard one. This video is so hard to make, man. But I'm still fighting these problems, and I'm trying to find ways to counteract the ADHD and how to be a more normal, like, human. I want to be a good human. I want to be a working, like, socially acceptable human. And that actually brings me to the other diagnosis that I got. I also am on the spectrum. It's hard when you get two diagnoses like this when you're 23, even though you've had a hunch for a long time, but you haven't really been able to do anything about it. But like when I got this autism diagnosis, like just a lot of things locked into place in my life. Like, for example, for the better part of my life, I've felt like a shell of a human. Like, I really don't think I had any, like, my own decisions, really. Like, I was told by everybody else what to do, and I kind of just took it like, okay, I think I will do this. And I never really did the things I liked. I never asked for the things I liked. And I kind of just let everybody else do these things for me, and also like kind of shape myself, especially as a kid. Like, for example, I never as a kid asked for anything. I never as a kid, I didn't know what I want. I felt like I was just this shell that was controlled by other people. Like I feel like I felt no emotions at all, especially when I was a teenager, and I just kind of went with the flow. Where the fuck do I start from? It's a hard one. Whew, it's a hard thing to talk about. As a kid, I was like, I wouldn't say you could easily say I was autistic or anything like that. I was a pretty, like, for example, with the ADHD, like I was kind of normal. Like I was impulsive, yes, sometimes, but that's about it. Same with the like autistic things. You couldn't, for the outside people, you couldn't really tell that I was autistic, but it's kind of funny. I don't know if this has anything to do with the autism, but bro, as a kid, I had so many fucking Donald Duck comics to the point where, like, this is when I was like 7 to 10 years old. I would have like I slept in a bunk bed, like in my room, and the 2/3 of the bed would just be covered with like Donald Duck books, comics, hardcovers, like all that. Like there was at least like 200-300 like comic books on the bed, and I would sleep like if this is the bed, this is the comic books. Like this is the comic books and this is me. Like I would sleep on the tiny ass fucking spots on my bed. Bro, I don't know how my parents didn't at that point already think I would have autism. That probably had nothing to do with autism, but I think that was just kind of funny because that clearly looked fucking autistic as shit that I would have. I was so into Donald Duck, I would know all the lore. Like I was basically the Necrit of Donald Duck, and I still am. Like the amount of knowledge I know about fucking Donald Duck and that universe is crazy. Like if I made a channel talking about Donald Duck, I would be the fucking Necrit of Donald Duck, basically. It's funny. Aside from that, as a child, not really like you couldn't tell I was autistic or anything like that. But I would say when it came to like my teenage years, I just didn't feel anything. I didn't know how to feel. And also like I was a really sporty guy because my parents they love sports and they really wanted me also do sports as a kid, which is good. I'm glad that they put me through that, but I never liked doing them, like these team sports. I was playing ice hockey and I was playing floorball as a kid, but I did these things and I just didn't like them. I did like them like the first few years, but after that it got to the point where I just didn't like them, and I still did them because I felt like that was I just thought that that's what doing these things feels like for everybody else. Like they kind of don't like it, but they still do it. I didn't really understand how everybody else felt about these sports that they were doing, especially these team sports that they want to be really good and all that stuff. I didn't. I just like I felt like I was forcing, like every single time, like for 6 years, I was forcing myself to play this. The reason why I continued and never really talked with my parents about this was because I just thought that was how people think, that okay, I don't like this, but I will still do this. And I just kind of like tanked it. I just didn't like it. Man, this is hard. Whew. Yeah, so I kind of made my parents mold me who I am and everybody around me, even though I didn't want to do it, but I thought it was the way people think about these things. So I never really told them, hey, I kind of don't like this. And the day I stopped playing these sports was when a new coach came around and was like asking questions about how much do you want to play this sport? And I'm like, yeah, I want to play the sport. And he's like, okay, do you want to start your trainings in the morning or like during the day? So I was like, yeah, during the day, because then it's easier. And he said, so you don't care? I went to the next guy and asked the same question. And that's the first time I kind of realized, yeah, I actually do not care. That was like the first time in my life I was like, wait, I actually do not care about this enough to do it. and I immediately dropped it after that. I never got any friends playing these sports, by the way. I was playing ice hockey for like 6 years. Never really got any friends. I haven't talked to anyone ever. I can't really even name any names that were in the team, or floorball as well. I just couldn't get any friends because it wasn't for me. But I still did it because I thought it was right. But I'm not sure how much of this of my experiences are me being autistic and just me being me. Although being autistic is still kind of being me, but you know what I mean. Like, what are just me problems? And I think that is one of the hardest things. And I think right now that's one of the hardest things for me to do, is to separate what part of me is kind of the autistic spectrum talking and what part of me is me talking. Because as I told you, as a kid, I really felt like just a vessel that was being controlled. And I still kind of feel that way in a lot of situations. I still feel that I don't control myself. I feel like I'm just a vessel that's being moved by outside force, and I have nothing to do with it. But yeah, it's still extremely hard to kind of separate which part is like technically the normal myself. Well, it's still me, and which part is the autism talking. And I think that really has, like, this diagnosis really has helped me to realize a lot of the problems I've had in life. For example, I feel like in my teenage years, I really didn't feel any feelings. Like, I just didn't feel anything, really. And this was especially true when I was like 20, 22, and I just didn't feel anything. I was just going through day and day. I felt like I felt like shit. Okay, I really need to explain this somehow. Because of I wasn't still diagnosed with ADHD. I was taking the wrong meds. Sometimes, I mean, like, not even taking them. My sleep schedule was shit. Like, I was going to sleep at like 6 p.m. Or sorry, I was going to sleep at like fucking 6 a.m. waking up at 6 p.m. Like, it was horrible. And I just didn't care. I felt like shit every day for like this is when by the way, when I had already started my YouTube channel, Dums. It just felt like every single day felt extremely shit, but I just didn't care. I didn't care enough to start working on myself. I start fixing these problems. I really don't know how I did that. Like, did all of that. Like, it was hell on earth, and I just didn't care. I didn't really care how I felt. I didn't really care how I looked, or how everybody else saw me. Now I kind of know. So when I broke up with my first girlfriend, the relationship wasn't even long. Like, it was, I can't remember how long it was, like 3 months maybe. It wasn't long. But for 6 months, my feelings were so extreme every single day that I felt like I was going crazy for 6 months. And that's why if you go to Dums and you check 2022, I did not upload that year. And that's the reason why. Because after that breakup, I, for the first time ever, felt like I actually felt feelings. But the feelings were just so extreme that every single day felt insane. Like, every single day just felt like the world was gonna end for 6 months. And Jesus Christ. But I got through it. After 6 months, I actually did feel great again. But I was super numb. I'm not gonna lie. Like, feelings wise, I didn't feel anything. And now I have been with my current girlfriend for almost 2 years, and oh boy, let's just say it has been hard for me to process my feelings. And the reason why is because I think something in me can't process negative feelings. Like, I am a person pleaser. Like, I want everybody around me to have a good time. I try to I try to help everybody the best I can, and I try to be good for everybody. That's has always been a rule in my life for me, that I try to be good for everybody. But the reason why that actually might be is it's because I cannot handle negative emotions, and I, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's probably an autistic thing again, but I kinda mirror what the other people is feeling. So if somebody, like a family member of mine or my friend, is feeling down, I will feel bad as well. Like I will take their energy and fucking put it in me. But the thing is, my brain doesn't want to process negative feelings. So what ends up happening is that when somebody is feeling down and I'm kinda mirroring that myself, my brain just says nope and turns itself off. And that happened a lot during my breakup with the first girlfriend. That was the first time I actually felt emotions like that. Throughout the day, it would go, I'm about to die, my world is falling apart, to psst, nothing, absolutely nothing. My brain would try to kinda save me from negative emotions. And this happened like 20 times a day. And it's still happening to this day. If something negative happens in my life, my brain tries to like guard it by turning itself off, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard for my social life, hard for my relationships. Like, imagine if your partner, for example, can't feel negative emotions. Like, how does that feel to you? That if your partner feels bad, he cannot operate. Like, if something happens, I just go pretty much. Like I stop working. Basically, my brain stops working. And I think that's the biggest thing about me being autistic, that I cannot process feelings as well as others. And also, masking is a thing that I think I've done my whole life, which is actually a new thing that I learned like just a few years ago. I think, yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. As I was talking before, I felt like a vessel that just mimics everybody else's, emotions and stuff. I've been doing that my whole life, unknowingly. And now I, like, feel it in action. Before it was like a unconscious thing that I would kind of try to be part of a group by mirroring what they do. Or like my friends, being with my friends, try to mirror what they do so I can be part of them. So I don't feel like an outsider. And that has been a really big part of my childhood. And that's why I think I also felt like a vessel, because I was just mimicking everybody else so I wouldn't be left out. And I think that's like the scariest thing, that my brain thinks I'm different. So it tries to mimic everybody else around me so I wouldn't be alone. Fucking hell. It's a hard one to talk about. Woo! But yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. I've just recently like kind of taken advantage of it, that I'm really good at mimicking other people and just reading other people. Like, for example, if I'm at events and stuff, I can easily like see how they act, see how they talk, see how they emote. And I'm kind of copying that immediately. Like, if I see a guy and they're like, hey, what's up? I can immediately see how they are and kind of mimic what they do. So I could be kind of like part of the group. It's kind of like right now, I feel like it's kind of like a superpower, but it surely wasn't that before. It's kind of funny because sometimes you can clearly see when the masking drops. Like if I'm at events and I'm trying to like mimic what the other guy is doing, and then at some point my brain just kind of turns off. I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, what's this situation again? What am I doing? And I kind of like start stuttering. Like, it's kind of funny if you see that ever. Like I'm like, hey yo, what's up? Oh, it's all good. Oh man, oh I love you, all that good shit. And then all of a sudden, when something happens or like they start talking about something else, I might shut down all of a sudden. I'm like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, so for a lot of my life, I've kind of been masking myself so I wouldn't be alone. And that was also a really big part of my relationships, that I would mask myself who I am. But now, because I know that I'm doing that consciously, it's gotten way better. And I'm like, actually, this whole video, the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want to say thank you to my girlfriend, who's been with me and actually, oh fuck, whew. Who's been with me and been helping me and actually understands me, even though like I'm autistic as shit. My emotions are not what they normal people emotions are, or I shouldn't say normal people. Like, I am normal. If you have autism, you are also normal. But it is kind of relaxing for the first time in my life to kind of be myself and be around a person who just likes me for who I am, and I don't have to mask myself every single day. Fuck. Whew. So this is hard. I don't have to mask my emotions or what I feel every single day. And I think I also, like, if you have these problems and, oh my god. If you have these problems and you are looking for a relationship, please, for the love of God, if you think you might have ADHD, you might have autism, or be in the spectrum anyway, please do some research. That's all I ask for, because this will help you so much to just know yourself. Like, even I don't know who I am yet. I'm 25. I don't know who I'm like fully yet. I know like 80% of myself. 2 years ago, I knew like 10%, and now it's getting better. I just want everybody to, like, be yourself, especially if you get into a relationship. Just be yourself. Just show that you are autistic as shit. Show them that you are you. Show them that you are you. And I think that's the lesson of this video. If you struggle with, for example, autism, or you think you might have autistic tendencies, just be yourself. I know this society make me this way. No, I think this society is just not very good for people like me, or people like with even worse tendencies that I have. It's hard. It's hard, but there are ways to feel good, and there are ways to do good in life, do good at work, do good at the relationship. You just need to, like, if you even have a hunch you might have something, please, if you have a possibility to go to a doctor, for example, for ADHD, or even like to get a autism diagnosis, please do. Because this will, one, change your life a lot to better. Always. It doesn't, like, even if you don't have anything and they're like, yeah, you're fine, then you're fine. Like, and if you have something, it will always be better. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't want to get a diagnosis for my ADHD or autism because it will change the perception of myself. To that I say, no, you are still you. You are still you, but now you just have tools to function better. You might get ADHD meds, you might be better at work now, and for your autistic tendencies, you might find coping mechanisms to actually get through your day, and you don't feel drained. You don't feel completely drained. And yeah, I actually want to talk a little bit more about the ADHD thing, because the ADHD, like, if you look at my Dums channel, we joke about the fact that we are, like, I'm uploading once a year. He uploads like once a year or whatever. But it really was because I just didn't know I have ADHD. And what happened was that my sleep was shit. I felt no motivation during the day because my sleep was so shit. I couldn't do work. At that moment, I thought I just didn't have motivation to I didn't have motivation to do YouTube, but it was actually I didn't have motivation to do YouTube because my energy levels were so low because of my super delayed sleep. And now that I got diagnosed with ADHD, I got the meds, and I even got like government is, paying me part of the meds, so that's very cool. I feel so much better. I can do so much more work. I feel so energetic throughout the day. I didn't feel like this when I was like 20 to 22. I felt like shit back then, but I didn't really know it. I thought that was just me. But now I'm like, why the fuck did I wait? Like, I felt like shit. I knew something was going on because I really want to make YouTube videos and I really want to upload more on the YouTube channel, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I could do it when I started the YouTube channel because I had so much energy to be like, oh my god, guys, I'm a YouTuber now. But then, like, after a few years, because it became routine, I lost all motivation because I just didn't have enough energy to do stuff. And that's why, you could see like me uploading every 3 months, 4 months, even 6 months. But now it's completely different. Like, every single day I feel like, yo, I can actually do this, do that. I have energy to actually work. Of course, there are still days that are hard, especially with the autism. Like, as I said, like, if something bad happens, my brain shuts off. It's impossible to work during that day, by the way. It's like, I need to reset for the next day. It's like, I can't do anything. I can play TFT and that's it. What I want to say with this video is that if you think you have something going on in your life that's hindering you, or you want to know more about yourself, you don't feel like you don't know enough about yourself, not even like you don't think you have ADHD or autism or anything like that, like anything, please, if you have a chance, please go to the doctor or even like research yourself. And if you think after that oh shit, I might actually have this, then go to the doctor. Or if you have the possibility to go to private, whatever, you do that. Because I don't want people to kind of be like me. I know it's not like I'm still a YouTuber, I'm still doing videos, like I do this as my job. But I wish I would have known about these issues sooner, because if we're looking back at, Dums, he uploads like once a year, and I just couldn't make any videos because I was just so demotivated because I didn't have enough energy because of ADHD, autism, all that stuff. I would be somewhere else. I would be either, bigger or, whatever. I just want to say it's never too late. Like, I'm still here. I'm still here making videos, all that jazz, even though it got a bit slowed down, during the start of 2020 and after that. But I'm still here. And it's never too late to start to know more about yourself. So guys, I just want to make this video to let everybody know that know more about yourself, because it might make your life way easier. Okay, so I'm actually recording this at a different time, but I think the reason why I even became a content creator in the first place was because I could kind of be myself, because I wouldn't have to interact with people like physically. So I could just, send my thoughts to, the screens of everybody, and just be myself for the first time ever, really. I didn't have to mirror myself anymore. But I think I still do that, like, even with creators. Like, I do it unintentionally, that I try, like, if I watch any creators, I kind of still mirror their styles, or what they talk about, or how they talk even. But I think that's why, like, I think like a lot of content creators are somewhat on the spectrum, is because they can finally be themselves and they don't have to do these social things, be talking to people. It's easy. It's super easy. And I think that's why I became a content creator in the first place, or like why I even started doing this in the first place, because I could be myself. And I want to say thank you for watching. If this video helped you, or if you related to this video in any way, I'm glad. I'm super glad. That's why I made this video in the first place. And also, like, if you have a friend or somebody who might be going through something, or might be, again, kind of trying to find themselves, you can share this video with them, and hopefully it will also, make them relate to my story somehow. There were still a few things I really want to talk about in this video. For example, like fidgeting, like how that's a real big part of my everyday life, and social better. But like, if I would add those in this video as well, I think this video would be like fucking 2 hours long. So I might just leave that for another time. if you've ever had any similar experiences, or you just want to share your own unique experiences, please write them in the comments below so other people can maybe learn from those as well. And hopefully you will have an excellent day, excellent week, and yeah, that's about it. See ya, and don't forget to subscribe.